Every single morning, 4 specialized rail hoppers arrive, carrying 200,000 pounds of ultra-fine winter wheat flour. This facility processes only the highest protein hard red winter wheat, specifically engineered for maximum industrial gluten elasticity.
Before a single gram enters production, every incoming batch is scientifically tortured to measure exact microscopic protein content and water absorption.
Once approved, the powder travels at 50 miles per hour through a sprawling overhead network of sealed pneumatic vacuum tubes.
Massive rotary valves act as the precise beating heart of the delivery system, pacing the flour flow exactly to the milligram.
The living yeast must be perfectly revived and activated in massive warm water incubators before it can contact the dry flour.
Precisely measured industrial liquid sucrose is pumped in to forcefully accelerate the aggressive biological yeast fermentation process.
Inside the colossal 1,000-gallon mixing bowls, the raw separated ingredients finally meet in an explosion of controlled industrial violence.
Solid titanium kneading hooks are absolutely required to withstand the immense destructive torque of pulling 2 entire tons of developing raw gluten.
At terrifying rotational speeds, the hooks aggressively stretch the microscopic wheat proteins into an unbreakable elastic molecular web. Friction from the violent mechanical kneading process creates intense internal heat that must be strictly continuously monitored by infrared laser to prevent premature yeast death. In exactly 6 controlled minutes, the perfect master dough is born, possessing immense structural elasticity.
The massive living blob is unceremoniously dumped into the primary fermentation holding troughs. Inside the tropical 100-degree climate of the sealed fermentation room, billions of yeast cells begin their
After 4 precise temperature-controlled hours, the fully matured, highly volatile living dough is finally ready for rapid mechanical division.
The massive living dough river must now be violently divided into thousands of exact identical 1-pound individual fragments.
A rotary severing blade drops at physically impossible speeds, guaranteeing every single loaf fragment weighs precisely identically to the gram. The unshaped, jagged blocks are immediately transferred to the high-speed centrifugal rounding belts for aggressive reshaping. Centrifugal rounding forcefully shapes the crude, jagged cuts into perfectly tight, smooth-surfaced raw dough balls in under 3 seconds. Engineers constantly verify the surface tension of every batch. If the skin is stretched too tight, the final bread will tragically explode violently open in the oven. A precision microdusting of dry flour acts as a flawless mechanical lubricant for the incredibly sticky, active biological dough.
The fresh dough is specifically permitted a brief 5-minute atmospheric rest period to fully relax.
The relaxed protein spheres now face the brutal, completely unforgiving flattening pressure of the massive industrial sheeting steel rollers.
3 successive sets of progressively tighter, massive steel rollers violently and systematically crush all.
Mechanical wire curling nets tightly roll the flattened dough into a multi-layered spiral, strategically trapping air to create an incredibly uniform final crumb structure.
The tightly coiled dough cylinder is precisely machined to be exactly the interior length of the waiting standardized dark steel baking pan.
Automated high-speed panners drop the precisely shaped dough cylinders exactly into the geometric center of the dark, pre-seasoned baking pans.
If a single loaf lands upside down with the seam facing up, that seam will violently rip completely open in the oven.
The raw trapped dough cylinders must undergo one final, massive, controlled biological expansion phase.
Inside the 100-degree tropical humidity proofer, the billions of yeast cells violently accelerate their gas.
The continuous proofing process operates around the clock, towering 6 full stories high within a
The swollen, fragile dough now races blindly toward the single most terrifying machine in the entire facility. The oven operates at precisely 425 degrees Fahrenheit, a perfectly calibrated, sustained environment of.
oven spring transforms the raw loaf in mere seconds, forcing the final aromatic expansion of all trapped carbon dioxide.
A carefully, precisely timed injection of pure saturated steam creates a gelatinized surface coating that forms the.
These 6 relentless burning tunnels collectively bake over 1 million individual loaves every single 8-hour shift, with.
After exactly 22 brutal minutes of sustained direct fire exposure, the perfect, immaculate, golden.
Massive, precisely targeted industrial vacuum cups instantly rip the searing hot finished bread directly upward and out of the pans to absolutely prevent the crust from burning against the residual hot metal.
The fragile, freshly baked bread must be cooled extremely slowly and completely uniformly before any
Running at maximum production capacity, the cooling spiral continuously holds over 20,000 individual freshly baked loaves.
Engineers violently penetrate random sample loaves with calibrated thermal probes to precisely ensure the internal core temperature has perfect.
For 3 ovens. A final ruthless electromagnetic scan absolutely guarantees total product purity and maximum consumer safety before.
A single overbaked, misshaped, or asymmetrical loaf is brutally and instantly rejected from existence before it can ever be sold to any consumer.
And deliveries. Quality control meticulously examines randomly selected internal crumb structures under high magnification to.
The surviving structurally flawless golden loaves now blindly approach the most violent and consuming machine.
Deliveries. The band slicers consist of 50 individual razor-sharp continuous steel wire loops, constantly spinning at terrifying speeds.
Despite being entirely mechanically severed into individual slices, gentle, continuous rubber pressure holds the loaf flawlessly.
Automated pneumatic scoops forcefully ram the delicate sliced loaves perfectly, cleanly straight into the waiting thin platform.
A pneumatic twist arm efficiently violently spins the excess bagneck material, immediately sealing in the ultimate.
Running at 90 perfectly sealed bags per minute per line, the synchronized bagging machine array becomes a terrifying continuous blur of constant mechanical motion.
This specific production department alone perfectly bags, seals, and releases over 2 million individual loaves of
Industrial tracking lasers permanently burn identifying data directly into the clojag material, absolutely guaranteeing infinite. The critical final human touch check verifies not just the absolute mechanical seal integrity, but the ultimate undeniable. Robotic automated case erectors violently fold rigid corrugated shipping boxes from flat blanks at completely terrifying breakneck speeds exceeding 60 boxes per minute.
A multi-axis industrial robot arm uses extreme precise torque to coordinately throw bulky pieces.
The sealed finished cases enter the completely autonomous, heavily restricted, and deeply controlled deep automated warehousing zone. The palletizing algorithm builds an interlocking, structurally earthquake-proof geometric pattern out of the lightweight individual shipping boxes.
Dozens of thick layers of heavily tensioned industrial stretch film transform the fragile individual shipping boxes into a final massive standardized barcode scan formally digitally registers the completed wrapped pallet into the overarching
The sheer immense operational scale of the daily staging warehouse facility is required to simultaneously house over
Advanced embedded AI autonomous navigation algorithms absolutely guarantee that the massive fleet of unmanned robotic vehicles
When any regional supermarket distribution center places a replenishment order, the warehouse management system retrieves the connection.
A flawless, extremely dangerous, high-speed mechanical ballet directed entirely and exclusively by the
Fresh Bread Logistics operate absolutely relentlessly around the clock 24/7 to distribute the highly perishable soft product as quickly as physically possible to regional consumers.
Each departing massive refrigerated trailer leaves this central distribution facility, carrying enough fresh inventory to The precious fragile cargo begins its urgent overnight refrigerated journey to arrive on supermarket shelves before the first customers arrive at dawn.
From the elevated central nervous system high above the deafening floor, the head process engineers relentlessly monitor
Even the slightest unexpected temperature drop inside the massive proofing chamber can instantly trigger a complete...
Ground-level maintenance technicians constantly patrol the roaring, deafening production floor on foot, looking carefully for invisible Only decades of deeply specialized hands-on experience allow seasoned veteran workers to hot swap critical consumables.
Absolute, unquestionable clinical sterile conditions are strictly enforced, with zero tolerance at all times. Any biological
Every single scrapped, rejected bread piece is carefully categorized, weighed, and responsibly diverted for secondary recycling. Rigorous daily routine predictive preventive maintenance inspections absolutely prevent catastrophic, completely unacceptable.
When the entire sleeping surrounding city finally rests in darkness, the beating, relentless mechanical heart of the massive bread factory
The complex, fully autonomous mixing and kneading system requires only absolute minimal remote human supervision. One single solitary, highly trained senior engineer commands an entire massive army of completely autonomous operating steel.
Millions of individually sealed pristine consumer packages march relentlessly, endlessly toward the remote shipping warehouse without a single pair of living human eyes watching their journey.
The colossal raw material storage silos constantly drain steadily downward through the night, eagerly continue. Even in absolute pitch total darkness during the graveyard shift, the colossal bread factory effortlessly automatically manages.
An eternal, wholly unstopping golden river of pure baked industry relentlessly flows forward on forever.
From raw, dusty wheat flour to a flawless, perfectly soft, golden consumer loaf, the massive, intricate, fully automated...
Modern robotic masterful precision engineering has brilliantly completely transformed humble ancient grain baking into a genuinely...
One tiny, completely perfect, shiny sealed bag of sliced bread, miraculously born out of a staggering 2 million total.
This mammoth automated facility stands tall as an undeniable, powerful testament to the truly staggering, practically
The golden river of warm, fresh bread flows endlessly, relentlessly on through the night, and the massive roar...